like, why would you leave Italy unless starving was your only other option? Like, you wouldn't leave it. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
why would you leave that to come to somewhere unknown? Like, there's no way my family was like, Italy's great, but you know what? We're really missing out on Western Pennsylvania. No, they didn't have a choice.
Well, welcome to Lyrics to Go, Ron Placone.
Thanks for having me.
We dove right in. It was like a cold open.
Yeah, I like it.
Can I read a little bio of you for the people?
Sure.
A little introduction.
Sure.
So my guest today on Lyrics to Go, hi everybody, by the way, is someone I've been a fan of for a number of years now. A comedian based in Los Angeles, originally from Pennsylvania. He appears regularly on the Jimmy Dore Show, a YouTube leftist news program, news comedy program, which is also a lot of fun and also features my brother a lot. So I'm a little biased, but he's been seen on Crosstalk, TMZ, Free Speech TV, The Young Turks, Redacted Tonight, and more. And he has a debut album called Agnostic Holiday, which I just listened to this morning, and it's a lot of fun. I had a good time as a stand-up album, very funny, and it's in rotation on Sirius XM. And he is the host of the YouTube show and podcast, Get Your News On with Ron. It's Ron Placone.
What's up? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. We met once, right? 3 years ago?
Yeah, we did. We met. Has it been that long?
It was 2018. Yeah, it was March of February 2018.
That was back in the time where you could all be in a studio together.
A garage.
A garage studio together.
Yeah, it was really something.
That was a fun time. I remember that. Yeah, I can't believe it's been, I want to say that was like a year ago, but yeah, it's been 3 years. Wow. All right.
Well, so I have a lot I want to ask you about, and we're gonna talk lyrics at some point, because one thing that's not in your bio, but I know about you, is that you are a guitar playing songwriter. And do you write songs outside of the political satire bent, or is that sort of your lane?
I do, but I'm more of a hobbyist. I mean, the whole like using music at all in front of people thing is relatively new to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, it's funny how it happened. I mean, first of all, I could start at the beginning. I did play in bands in high school. Like I played in punk bands, and we were actually called Open Till 2, and the reason we were called Open Till 2 was because we would skateboard in this Taco Bell. We were such a cliche through and through. We would skateboard in this Taco Bell parking lot because that was like the only sign of life in my little neighborhood was the Taco Bell. So we would skateboard in the parking lot until they kicked us out, which they always did. But we would skateboard in the parking lot, and they would kick us out. And when they kicked us out, we decided, okay, we just got kicked out from skateboarding. Let's go have band practice, which is probably what we should have just been doing the whole time in the first place. But whatever, let's go have band practice. And so we would leave Taco Bell and go have band practice. And the Taco Bell had a big sign that said Open Till 2 because that's how late their drive-thru was open till. So we called our band Open Till 2. And it was ironic when we started playing out and getting shows because we got this reputation where they're like, yeah, they're called Open Till 2, which references last call at a bar. And they're all freaking 13 and shit. They're not going to bars. That's hilarious. So I'm guessing I can curse here, right?
Of course you can. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I mean, I'm doing a 10-part series on my favorite Wu-Tang Clan verses, and I'm not bleeping anything out. So
brilliant.
Yeah. That makes you the second band that I know of that's like either named after or has a piece of work named after something to do with Taco Bell. Didn't Das Racist have like an album called Combination Dairy Queen Taco Bell something?
I'm at the Combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. I'm at the Pizza Hut. What? I'm at the Taco Bell. I'm at the Combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. Wait.
I believe so. Yeah. And then his brother is I believe the member of Das Racist is brothers with Hari Kondabalu, who's a very brilliant comedian.
But for terrorism has a really low bar, right? It's like explosion. There's a falafel place. Terrorism. That's all it is. It's that simple in this country.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hari's brother is in Das Racist.
Hari's the guy who did the Apu movie, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's Hari. And I know Hari I started comedy in Seattle. And Hari was a Seattle comic too. Now Hari was gone by the time I got there.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of, I guess, a class ahead of me or whatever. But But Hari still came back regularly. So I know him, back from Seattle. Yeah, he's a great guy, very funny dude.
I've always enjoyed his stuff.
But yeah, anyway, and then as far as like what I'm doing now, yeah, it just sort of organically happened. I just kind of was playing around with Love Me, I'm a Liberal just for fun.
I cried when they shot Medgar Evers. Tears ran down my spine. And I cried when they shot Mr. Kennedy, as though I'd lost a father of mine. But Malcolm X got what was coming. He got what he asked for this time. So love me, love me, love me, I'm a liberal. Get it?
And I sent it to Jimmy just for giggles. Like I just sent it to Jimmy. And he goes, "This is great. You're going to do it on Sunday."
On the stage right now, from Get Your News On with Ron, it's Ron Placone, ladies and gentlemen.
Now I vote for the Democratic Party because they have the better deal. And I have lots of love for the Clintons. Always have and I always will. And we need to believe all women, unless it's about Biden or Bill.
And what that was in reference to was because at the time he had a residency at this little club in Hollywood. I think your brother actually came to it one time, but he had a residency every Sunday. There was a live Jimmy Dore show.
Yeah.
In this club in Hollywood. It held
Sorry,
about...
can you define live show for me? I've never heard of that concept. That's very unfamiliar.
Right? Yeah. The audience was in the room with the performers.
The what was in the room?
I know, right? I miss it so. And I'm sure. I mean, you're a musician, right? So it hurts.
I'm a musician. I'm a musical theater composer and lyricist.
Yeah.
So when COVID hit, I was in Issaquah, Washington, just east of Seattle, and opening night for my world premiere, the world premiere of a musical I co-wrote with two others, was March 12th of last year, and it was also our closing night.
Oh, so at least one show did happen.
No, we called it. It wasn't official. We weren't allowed to officially open. It was a final dress rehearsal, basically.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Geez, I'm sorry.
And then quarantine was the next day.
So like the theater world, like you understand that circuit and stuff. So that's a mystery to me. That's interesting to me.
Well, I can't say I understand it. I've been swimming in those waters for about 15 years, and I know it as well as I know it. But I've had to, reacclimatize myself over the past year to that not being a thing.
Yeah, it's such a weird time.
What radicalized you?
I want
to talk to you about politics just for a second, because you seem to be quite a political young man.
So we're still not into lyrics quite yet.
I got interested in this other question, and it's going to relate because I want to talk to you about political comedy songs.
Sure. Well, I would say the Iraq War, if I had to just answer in one, because before, and I can tie it into music. Pretty much before college, I wasn't very in tune politically. I didn't really have political opinions. I didn't really follow it. I just kind of listened to punk rock music and wanted girls to like me and wanted my band to do well. But, a lot of the bands I listened to had,
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they had like staunch left-wing messages. So I guess
do you mind giving me some examples?
Well, I listened to, let's see, what were some of the bands? NOFX. I mean, I grew up with NOFX, and they went on the, Rock Against Bush thing.
It's cocaine and a little drunk driving. Don't matter when death commander is idiot son of an asshole. He's idiot son of an asshole.
And by the time I got political by that point, because for me it was I got to college and we were over in Iraq I didn't understand why. I was like, well, why are we in Iraq? Why they didn't do 9/11? You know, I mean, this was what was going through my head. And you know, I didn't know about the neocon agenda or the axis of evil or setting the Middle East on fire for oil interests. I didn't know any of that. You know, I wasn't awake to that yet. But as I started exploring that question, why the hell are we in Iraq? I got those answers.
Yeah,
I got those answers real quick.
Yeah.
And then I started reading a guy named Noam Chomsky, and then I started and like even you've heard of him.
Well, it was seeing the documentary Manufacturing Consent in high school. I was lucky enough to be in a program, an election that was called the International Baccalaureate Program, and we had a political or a history teacher, or maybe it was a philosophy teacher, who was kind enough, really, to show us manufacturing consent in class.
The point is that in a military state or a feudal state or what we would nowadays call a totalitarian state, it doesn't much matter what people think, because you've got a bludgeon over their head and you can control what they do. But when the state loses the bludgeon, when you can't control people by force, and when the voice of the people can be heard, you have this problem. It may make people so curious and so arrogant that they don't have the humility to submit to a civil rule, and therefore you have to control what people think.
Absolutely. And so that changed my life. And then I started, you know, kind of bringing it back to music, even though like a lot of the punk rock I was listening to as a kid, like a lot of them had like political messages in it. I didn't really understand it like applied to the contemporary political sphere. Like I understood it in theme, but I didn't understand it applied to the contemporary political sphere. And sometimes it was like mildly off-putting to me, because you would hear, you know, like kids my age just repeat these things, and they didn't really understand what they were saying necessarily. They just were kind of like, yeah, you know, we're authoritarian, and they didn't really, even though what they were saying was accurate.
Were they it would be even worse if were they Bad Religion fans and like, you know, dropping like
I have a Bad Religion t-shirt on.
$10,000 words.
Oh,
hey, I didn't even see it.
Yeah, I wore a Bad Religion t-shirt for the show. I thought it was appropriate. It's a show about lyrics, and you know, Greg Graffin is one of my favorite lyricists out there.
So let's dive right in. What's your favorite Greg Graffin or Brett Gerwitz lyric?
Ooh. Oh, geez. I mean, American Jesus is kind of the most obvious thing that hits me right away.
I feel sorry for the Earth's population, 'cause some who live in the USA. At least the foreigners can copy our morality. They can visit, but they cannot stay. We've got the American Jesus, fostering national faith. We've got the American Jesus, overwhelming millions every
I mean, even though it's a big hit, it's just such a perfect song.
Yes.
Lyrically, melodically,
that's beautiful.
And everything else. But one of their albums, and there's multiple songs that really go under the radar. And actually, I want to say that Brett did more of the lifting on this than Greg did. Brett often gets not forgotten. I mean, the guy's done very well. I actually know where his house is at. He's done very well. Brett's fine, but he used to. Well, I used to live in the neighborhood that he lives in. But
he's also a producer. He produces other bands too.
Yeah, he's produced some stuff over the years. His label's done okay. Brett's fine. Brett's just fine. But I actually have I'll tell a really quick funny side story about so I went to when their book. Did you read the book that just came out about them?
No.
Oh, you should. It's I think it's just called Do What You Want. I don't know. I have it. It's on the bookshelf, like just staring at me over there, but I can't read. But I think it's just called Do What You Want, the story of Bad Religion. And it's they all wrote it together, like they all kind of like took a turn doing it chapters, kind of. And then
I have a Megadeth book like that.
Yeah. So it's one of those style of books, but it's really, really good. And I went to the live, like they did this like live book soup event for it, and it was online because this was like, you know, about a year ago. And in the chat room, people were saying like, I decided to go get my PhD because of Greg Graffin. And I actually said, because I mean, part of the reason I did go to grad school was because of Greg Graffin. I'm not going to lie. So I mentioned, I was just like, I decided to go to grad school partially because of Greg Graffin. And then Brett Gurewitz himself hops in the chat and he goes, I dropped out of high school because of Greg Graffin. And that was so cool.
That's really funny.
I mean, hey, sometimes you got to just take a step back and realize, when I first listened to Bad Religion and first got into Bad Religion, I didn't know this type of technology would even be possible someday where I'd be in a chat room.
I did a guitar masterclass with Vernon Reed last year.
Nice.
Of Living Color, and it was incredible. Like me and 15 other people are like chatting with my guitar hero, Mm-hmm. But you were about to say the album that you love the most.
Well, I wouldn't say I love them. I mean, that's really hard.
Or the one that stands out.
Just one that I think is a very, very underrated album. I would say maybe the most underrated Bad Religion album, and one that has just an amazing collection of songs on it and really knocks it out of the park lyrically, just like all their other stuff, but is Process of Belief.
Okay. Let me look that one up. When is that from?
2002.
Oh, wow.
It's actually something more recent, but it is just a fantastic. It's one of those albums where it's like you just listen to it start to finish. It did have some commercial success, like Sorrow is on Process of Belief.
When all soldiers lay their weapons down, or when all kings and all queens relinquish their crowns, or when the only true Messiah rescues us from ourselves, it's easy to imagine there will be sorrow no more.
Okay.
Which is a phenomenal song. And then they also have, one of the more powerful Bad Religion lines ever is Process of Belief is an elixir for the weak, which is on that album. And then, of course, I think, is it Do What You Want, where it's like, I don't know if the billions will survive, but I'll believe in God when 1 and 1 are 5. I mean, I think that's Do What You Want. And how do you not just, I mean, when they play that live.
Hey, I don't know if the billions will survive, but I believe in God when 1 and 1 are 5. My body is bad, I'm locked into the core. I'm dead out of billions to pass through the door. So do what you must, do all you can. Break all the fucking rules and go to hell with Superman. Die like a champion, yeah.
They played it live at I've seen them a couple times over the years, but I saw them at this big festival in Huntington Beach, where it's like basically just all the Southern California punk rock bands just hang out for a weekend in Huntington Beach. And so it's like Bad Religion was there, Social Distortion was there.
Yeah.
Rancid came down from the Bay Area. Black Rebel Motorcycle Club was there. The Interrupters were there, which is cool, representing the new era of Southern California ska punk and stuff like that. So it was a great festival. And, I mean, it's like those lines that Bad Religion has, you're just screaming them back at them. Like, how do you not just feel catharsis from lines like that? They're just so freaking brilliant.
Well, they make grad school vocabulary punk as fuck,
Culture was the seed of proliferation, but it's got it melted into an inharmonic whole, to an inharmonic whole. Yes, its technique is our elegance, insights of our disease. So swap the judgments of ourselves will be our quadrillion. The spread of culture, the sword of progress, the vector of suffrage, a warm and septic breeze. Well, I guess God was a lot more demonstrative back when he fed boy and he parted the sea. Now everybody's praying, don't pray on me.
The albums that I know the best, honestly, I don't know that I've listened to much beyond Recipe for Hate. But Against the Grain was the one that I loved the most.
Oh, yeah.
Very early on, with was 20th Century Digital Boy on that one, the original one? Let me take a look.
I'm not sure.
Yes, it was. Yeah, the original version of that was Flat Earth Society, Faith Alone.
Heard a sermon from a creaky pulpit with no one in the nave. I paid a visit to the synagogue and I left there feeling blamed.
Like really short songs, like, a minute and a half.
Yeah, well, in 21st Century, I mean, that's kind of them flexing their humor muscle.
Yes.
You know, I'm a 21st century digital boy. I don't know how to read, but I got
a lot of toys. When mommy's on Valium, so ineffectual.
Yes.
That's a great rhyme.
I mean, that's beautiful. Yeah. So it's like they definitely did have their sense of humor too.
Yeah,
which,
and of course, so did NOFX, right?
Oh, big time.
I mean,
yeah,
they were even snottier.
Very much.
That was their thing.
Yeah, very much.
What's your favorite NOFX song?
I'm gonna have to go Linoleum. I know it's such a obvious choice, but if I had to just pick one, that song is just so. I remember like when I was going through a really rough time in my life. I was homeless. You know, I was pretty much just living out of my car doing comedy shows. And this would have been like 2015-ish. I'd just gone through a pretty rough breakup, and it was not a good time in my life. And I remember one day I just kind of like posted a video of myself that like on Facebook, just playing Linoleum on an acoustic guitar, and really just feeling every word of it. It's a song. That song does not have a chorus. It doesn't need one. That's how cool it is. Like it really doesn't. But it's like you just feel that so much. Like that's me on the beach side, combing the sand, a metal meter in my hand, sporting a pocket full of change. That's me on the street with a violin under my chin. Playing with the grid, singing GBH. That's me on the back of the bus. That's me in the cell. That's me inside your head. That's me inside your head. Like that's beautiful.
What does that say to you?
That says to me, like I think it's just like just the journey of life. I mean, I think really like a lot of lyrics can just be summed up as, and I mean this in a good way. It's like the journey of life, the journey of trying and failing, the journey of exploration, and the journey of not giving up and caring, and that's that's what that song means to me. That's what Linoleum means to me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's literally just about a dude who has to sleep on the floor. You know, possessions never meant anything to me. I'm not crazy. You know, when you pack up what little you have in a car and then put the rest in your parents' basement, you're really feeling that. You know, I never had a dog named Bob who pissed on my floor, but I had a cat named Lucy who stuck with me throughout it. She's asleep on her cat tree right now.
And she's a character in your cartoons, right?
Yeah, Lucy and Ron. She's the character in the cartoon. Yeah. She has a webcomic.
She's Garfield to your John.
That's right. That's right. And she's been on TV a couple times too. This cat is very, very much a Hollywood cat.
And that brings us to the end of part 1. In part 2 of my conversation with Ron, it's awesome. He talks about a song by the Hold Steady that really has meant a lot to him, especially this year. You're not going to want to miss that. We share factoids about the song Hotel California. I don't think it's either of our favorite song, but it's a fun conversation. And Ron finds the express lane to my heart by telling me about the Steely Dan song he finds lyrically perfect. And you know what, folks? He's not wrong. Now, there's a lot more to the interview that will not be released to the public on YouTube. If you want to see all of it, if you're just a Ron Placone maniac, and who among us at this point is not, head on over to my Patreon at patreon.com/lyrics2go. And there you can see the entire hour and 40-minute conversation we had, which just went all over the place, lyrics and non-lyrics. And I just really loved talking to this guy. So I hope you'll check that out. Thanks for watching and supporting this channel. And I'll see you very soon with part 2. Peace.